Today, we are in the final part 3, of the final season of Jon Kate Plus 8, Season 5. If you haven't watched Seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, and Season 5 Parts 1 and 2, feel free to go watch those videos first. Everything is included in the playlist. Hi, I'm Danny, and you can normally find me on this channel diving into TLC shows, Christian fundamentalism, and exposing family vloggers. If that sounds like something you're into, I'm excited to have you around. Now, despite them being in the middle of getting divorced, we still can't forget, this might be a crazy life, but it's their life.
It might be a crazy life,
but it's our life.
Episode 16 is about going through all of their boxes from moving that they just shoved into the basement.
We have an organizer coming in, and I hope I hope she doesn't run when she comes down here.
I love that Kate claims to be such a great organizer, but needed outside help. I guess that's fair, given there's 10 people living in this house. But Kate is her usual ray of sunshine.
Basically, I'm the only one that cares about organization, and everybody else is out to sabotage me.
Ah, yes, your children make messes because they're out to sabotage you. Speaking of children, at this time, the kids are with a babysitter. It seems the babysitter has decided to remain private because we never see them. Kate also has her best friend from Michigan, Jamie, over to help.
I needed moral support and help and company.
And the kids stayed close.
The kids were in and out. They were playing with the toys in the basement that we were pulling out.
And we, once again, see how useless stuffed animals are to these kids. And in perfect timing, Kate says this.
You know how I feel about stuffed animals.
And she throws a bunch of them out.
Oh, praise the Lord! Praise the Lord!
Then, in a cute moment, Kate found Maddie's first year calendar where she wrote down every new thing Maddie did.
Maddie's second tooth on the bottom came through on April 2nd.
This is an adorable idea. I might be stealing it for my future children. Then, Kate is shown a label maker for the first time.
No!
My mom got me a label maker for Christmas sometime in late elementary school, and I labeled everything. Maybe that's what I'm missing in my life right now. And day 1 of decluttering comes to an end with new shelves put up. They pick up with day 2, but this day is a bit more rushed because Kate is, maybe for the first time ever, being incredibly slay.
I'm taking Maddie and Kara to see the Jonas Brothers tonight.
I'm so jealous. Although my first concert was Hannah Montana with Allie and AJ as the openers. I've been chasing that high ever since. Although Kate is completely entitled to have opinions on where she wants things, she does make things a little challenging for the women helping organize.
This is your gift wrapping center. And I like to make it like a gift wrapping center for you. To make
Well,
it
I don't
easy.
actually wrap down here.
You don't?
No.
Would you?
No.
But they finish organizing, and Kate is obviously happy to have everything in order again.
They were patient, they worked with me, and in the end, this basement is like amazing. Amazingly organized.
Episode 17 is about all of the kids officially going to school, but it's another one I don't currently have. Episode 18 is titled Butterflies and Water Rockets. Thankfully, Jon is in this episode, so it won't all just be Kate. Now that Jon took Kara to Utah, Kate took Maddie to San Diego, and then she also took the boys to Wyoming, it's the little girls' turn for a trip. So Kate is taking them to Florida, and here's where the butterflies come in.
Whatever you do, don't squish them. No.
Jon is at home with the boys and twins, preparing to do the water rockets.
we're gonna do destructive man stuff.
I would, to this day, like to do something like this and wouldn't define it as man stuff, but I appreciate Jon consistently being a fun parent. Back in Florida, the girls are hanging with a bunch of birds as they hold a cup of nectar.
Oh, don't fight! Oh my gosh, you just bit me!
But her trip takes a turn when they go to the insect section.
Okay.
Hi.
I know it's just a grasshopper, but I also could not do that. Then there's the millipede.
So they called me over to see the giant millipede, I think it was.
Mommy, close your eyes and give me one of your hands.
These are too gross and creepy for me. No thanks. Back at home, these water rockets are amazing.
3, 2, 1. Thing went up like 100 feet, 120 feet up in the air.
I want to do that so bad now. I had no idea they went so high.
And then it was like really addicting.
But then I think Kate admits she enjoys torturing people.
I love how old they're getting and that they can, like, torture me, essentially. Like, they can just play back.
I'm only joking. This is a reference to Alexis chasing Kate around with the millipede and finding it hilarious. Then, for day 2 in Florida, Kate took the girls up in a hot air balloon.
Going to air hot balloon.
And for this trip, Kate decided to wear heels and a skirt.
We've got the ding-dong with the heels and the skirt on that has to figure out how she's getting in. And
Glad she was able to figure it out and admitted to being a ding-dong. But Kate also didn't realize that being in the basket of a hot air balloon is very hot because the flame goes off constantly.
It's not fun at all.
And to end out the episode, back at home, Jon got the kids a pitching machine for wiffle ball.
Oh yeah, the boys were excited. They really liked it.
I think Jon has made it clear he was close with his dad, and losing him 4 years prior has been really hard on him.
He was a big part of my life and sports and school, whatever. He was a good mentor. And yeah, it reminded me of that.
We never got to see his dad, but I think we can thank him for raising Jon to be a good dad, especially in the midst of a divorce. Although the big trips and things are super cool and fun, I think these intimate, classic playing wiffle ball in the yard memories are more important than anything else. I'm glad Jon values them. Episode 19 is a Q&A with Kate, and they somehow made this a 45-minute episode.
I tell them I will answer any and all reasonable questions. So that'll be the same rules for today.
Isn't it cool when you can set boundaries like that, Kate? I wish your kids were allowed the same. But we finally get an answer to a question I know a lot of us have been wanting to hear. What happened to the dogs? Her answer is long, so in summary, she decided their house is too chaotic with her and Jon splitting time there and that the dogs deserve better.
Never when I got them did I have any intention of giving them back, ever.
Of course, because you've always said great things about them. But this comment was also confusing given how much Kate seemed to hate them.
Are they gone forever? I'm hoping not.
If you don't know, Kate returned them to the breeder. She claims she called Jon and they agreed it was the best choice. But let's move on to the next question.
Do you have any regrets renewing your vows in Hawaii? I do not.
Kate says she truly meant it at the time. But her response gets a little wild when she responds to those accusing them of just doing this for the show.
I don't do anything for a show thing.
Kate, you're quite literally on a show thing right now. But I'm glad she looks back on the Hawaii trip with fondness because that has to be hard to go from renewing your vows to beginning the divorce process within a year. We move on to seeing all the clips from the holidays they've celebrated since starting the show, and the producer asks Kate what holidays will now look like for the family.
I will make the kids' holidays feel as normal and as usual and as traditional as they have been in the past.
I've said this in every episode where they celebrate holidays. Kate really thrives when it comes to traditions, and I love that for her. From singing happy birthday to every kid to doing a scavenger hunt to find presents, the kids definitely had fun holidays, thanks to Kate. But we move on to the next question, and I swear these questions are not coming from viewers of the show.
I am a mother of 5 kids. How to maintain your cool? And do you ever just flip out and start ranting?
We've seen Kate flip out multiple times on the show, if not every episode. That being said, anyone can be driven mad with one child, so I don't as much blame Kate for her outbursts as much as I blame her for the lack of accountability. Yes, 8 kids is a lot, but treating them and your husband nicely is important. And as people with feelings, they deserve to hear apologies from you, Kate.
No more! Eat it!
That was the bully.
Where did it come from?
You know, I'm not proud of it.
Although this next section is her listing out what she considers crap from the tabloids, I do love that it just sounds like she's admitted to the crimes she's committed against her kids.
I'm a monster mom, that I'm terrible, that I abuse my kids.
But Kate's frustration with the paparazzi is valid. They are gross and weird. But then Kate gets asked if the kids know they're famous, and we see a clip of them getting in the car with a mob of people standing and staring at them.
Give me your bags. I'll put them in the back.
I'm sorry, but that's just not healthy. It's so abnormal to have your childhood be so public and have all these fans that follow your toddler self around. I don't know how that doesn't creep Kate out enough to want to stop the show. She claims that everything she does is for the kids, but this clip tells me otherwise. Kate even mentions that Alexis said she doesn't like that the kids in her class try to talk about how they watch the show. I don't understand how Kate is okay with that.
They're not suffering from this. I will remain that. It's all really good discussion points.
Well, we disagree. But I am glad she mentions the kids can go to their rooms for privacy if they ever don't want to be on camera. While I doubt Kate always lets them do this, I'm glad there's a private space for them where cameras aren't allowed. But they transition to talk about her hair for several minutes and how her cut has become iconic. I guess it became so iconic that stores were selling a Halloween wig of it. That's just crazy.
You're not going to hurt my feelings, whether you love my hair or hate it.
Kate, your hair became known as the Karen cut. I assure you, most don't love it. The episode gets progressively boring when Kate talks about her love for heels for several minutes.
All right, let me be honest. Height makes you look thinner.
Then she gets asked if she plans to remarry one day.
I really don't want to be married again. Can you blame me? But I don't want to be alone.
Considering your choice in husband was better than Jon's choice in wife, I'm not so sure I understand the "can you blame me" comment. But then we finally get details on who Kate hires to help with the kids in the house. She has a full-time babysitter, a babysitter about 3 evenings a week, a house cleaner, and landscapers that keep up with her yard work.
Does that sound pampered? It's called survival.
Well, I don't think having additional adults keeping their eyes on the kids is a bad thing. Her comment is odd. So many people have 8 kids or more and don't have the wealth to afford sitters. I'm not saying it's not still hard for Kate, but I fear she's implying it would be impossible otherwise, and it's not a privilege to be able to afford it. But then she shares what the kids do after school, which is sports, sleepovers, hangouts with friends, the normal kid activities. I can definitely understand that she would need another adult or 2 to make that possible for the kids. And I love that she's able to make it work. Then we get a long recap of all the trips they've been on. But I think my channel has that covered already. So moving on.
I signed up for the show for the memories, had no idea it would become what it is. It ended up becoming our source of income, which was not the plan.
Maybe it wasn't the plan, but I doubt it wasn't a hope or a goal. Thankfully, Kate does say they've already put aside plenty of money for the kids to go to college, and I assume for other life costs too. Although they're only 9 and 5 during the shooting of this episode, I wonder if they've already gotten the money or have yet to see it today as 24 and 20-year-olds. Then, Kate hypes up the production team for several minutes and mentions how the family in them continue to bond more and more each season.
The kids love, everybody loves, and we work very well together.
Kate's answer to a question about what she plans to do when the show comes to an end is quite interesting.
I would love to be in a movie at some point.
Although Kate has not been in a movie yet, she has been on Dancing with the Stars, The Celebrity Apprentice, Special Forces, Kate Plus Date, Wife Swap, and many more TV shows. She's addicted to the attention. Kate then predicts what she thinks the kids will be when they grow up. She says Kara will be a teacher, Maddie will be a CEO or president, Alexis a vet, Hannah a caretaker, Aiden is still a professor, Colin an architect or engineer, and Leah is just going to be tiny. I don't know what that means, but that's what Kate said.
She's just gonna be tiny.
That's how little my wrist is.
And finally, she thinks Joel will be a model. And we see another moment of Kate demonstrating her general hate for men.
He'll suck some girl in and then she'll figure out he's clueless. You know that same old game? Wait, haven't we done that before?
Good one, Kate. Then she sets the record straight about the show.
That it is really reality. That we plan events, but nothing's staged.
And then she says something I so strongly disagree with.
That it is in no way or shape or form harmful for the kids because they wouldn't be on it if it was.
Well, there you have it. Kate has been made aware of critiques on the kids' safety and the harms of them being on this show. But she disagrees with them, so it doesn't matter. But Kate sums up this episode well.
Even I'm tired of my voice.
Episode 20 features an intimate interview where Kate shares more about her story. And, of course, I don't have access to it. But I think that might be a bit of a blessing because the show is turning into Kate Plus 8 already, and I miss Jon. Episode 21 features Kate reacting to the top 10 moments. These were chosen by vote by viewers who went on TLC.com. And we start with number 10, where Kate talks about the biggest blow-up.
Hello! We're over here.
I'm actually so tired of seeing this clip. Kate was in the wrong. She treated Jon like he was a dog, and it was a great sign of what was to come of the relationship. Then again, I do love that the show shoves it in Kate's face to show she is far from being a saint.
How many times are we gonna cut and recut this? I mean, really?
But she's still making the claim it was loud due to her mic and that she hasn't screamed at him in public again.
I've never screamed at him in public since, obviously.
I don't believe either of those claims, but the lies keep Kate going, so we move on. Number 9 was voted the cutest kid moment. This was from the Tummy Tuck episode, and Alexis sees Kate for the first time post-makeover. Kate had been gone for a week.
Hi, Mommy. Hi. 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 Hi, Mommy.
She simply couldn't believe that woman was her mom. Absolutely adorable. Number 8 was voted the top ouchie moment. And the editors take a moment to show Kate's constant focus on gender is not always accurate.
Boys are so rough. That's just unacceptable.
Oh no! No, we don't hit.
But the actual winner was when Lex bit through her lip, and Kate shares she's sad she wasn't there to comfort her during that time.
He was all healed up and better and told me all about it when I got home.
Number 7 is the top family milestone, which viewers voted to be the first dentist visit.
They did very well. Very good support for each other. It was good to see.
But we move on to number 6 to highlight the cutest kid saying.
Hannah pooped.
She pooped.
And Hannah's underwears.
These moments are truly adorable. But goodness, TLC loves to milk them out. I think I've seen this 100 times now.
That little voice. Oh, I haven't seen that for a long time.
Number 5 was voted the top family portrait.
Number 5 on the top 10 was the photo of you guys in front of your first house.
This was when the sextuplets were only 8 weeks old, and they had just gotten all of them home for the first time. The photographer really captured that moment in time, and Kate obviously appreciated it. For number 4, we see the most heartwarming moment.
That's the love that you hope your kids will have for each other.
Another adorable moment. Number 3 honors the most memorable meltdown. Somehow, the gum situation was only the runner-up, but we see Kate is staying a fairly consistent person.
I would still melt down about gum.
I hate this scene and how she treats Colin during it. So many of you agreed in the comments too. While gum isn't easy to clean out, when it comes to your child's favorite toy, I don't understand why throwing it out would ever be your first thought.
Gosh, I didn't realize I had so many meltdowns. Did I really?
Yes, Kate, you absolutely did and probably still do. But that takes us to the actual winner, the plane ride to Utah.
Oh my.
I actually didn't find this one to be that crazy. A delayed flight when you're already on the plane can be so overwhelming, and that's without trying to keep 8 kids in their seat. Kate was valid here. Number 2 was in honor of the best family trip. Viewers voted for their trip to Hawaii. This is one of the episodes I have not seen. There's some clips of them floating on boogie boards and viewing sea turtles. I now really want to do that.
She was so fascinated. So neat to see the excitement through a kid's eyes.
And for the finale, viewers voted for the most shocking moment, which, for the viewers, was Jon and Kate announcing their separation. I thought her massive belly when pregnant with the sextuplets was more shocking, but whatever. Kate says an interesting statement about how, although she's grown and learned, she feels she has always been her. She doesn't feel the same for Jon.
He, discovered he was somebody different than who we had known him to be.
We don't know what their relationship looked like prior to all the babies, but it's interesting for her to claim Jon is significantly changing, and that's why they didn't work. Both of them seem to be pretty similar to what we saw of them in season 1. But I don't know these people, so there's no way to truly know. But that's all we have when it comes to walking down memory lane. Episode 22 is titled Gymnastics and Baseball. The episode begins with Kate taking everyone to a store that sells leotards and male gymnastics attire. And as you can see the cameraman running, this store is way too small for filming. And once they finish shopping, Kate lets them know about a surprise, and the reaction is, well, underwhelming.
We're going to Austin's for dinner.
Yay!
But this is a big deal for them because going out to eat as a family this large is obviously a challenge.
It probably is the first time I took all 8 kids out to dinner.
That's impressive. I'll give it to her. But then we fast forward to the kids at gymnastics.
Can I stay with him?
You can. Usually we don't have.
I know, but I need to.
Kate truly is the OG Karen of television. But then there's this weird moment when you can completely tell Kate is reading a script or a diary or something. The audio isn't as great either.
Watching the little kids tumbling and jumping made me think of when Kara and Maddie started gymnastics when they were 3. I was really happy to see how excited they were to be starting gymnastics.
But that's enough of Kate. We finally get to see Jon again. But let me be clear, I still don't think he's a perfect parent. He agreed, and for the last few episodes, continued to agree to have himself and the kids on TV. I mostly just find him less insufferable than Kate. Jon is taking them to a minor league baseball game. Well, they were specifically invited there by the team. And I love this moment between Colin and one of the players.
What's your name, buddy?
Colin.
Colin, nice to meet you, Colin.
And again, I appreciate how chill Jon remains in moments like these.
Oh, you okay, buddy? That's what I was worried about.
But first aid gives Jon a Band-Aid and something to wipe off the blood.
They bring me an alcohol swab.
Yikes. I remember how painful that was anytime I'd scrape my knee. Poor Joel. But then the kids went and did the first pitch for the game. Well, Maddie, Kara, Aiden, and Joel specifically.
Kara. All right. Joel.
Hey, Joel.
Maddie. And Aiden.
They did first pitch and they were so good.
How could you ever hate the cutie that is Colin? My goodness.
Is a person inside here?
No, this is Screwball.
She's got that Disney character training. Then we get this adorable moment where Jon is explaining the game to Joel.
Why is that guy just standing there?
Oh, he's gonna pitch it. Oh, that's the outfielder. He's waiting. Oh, look. See it? See the white ball?
I also appreciate that Jon didn't force the kids to like baseball or care about it. He took them to the game and was excited to see Joel was into something he loves so much, and the rest of the kids played with their baseballs and gloves in the background. I love that. This episode does have a harsh ending where we find out Nana Janet passed away. May her loving soul rest in peace. Episode 23 shows a bunch of clips that were never before seen on the show. The first set of clips was when they went and got passports for all the kids. They were planning to either go to Korea or Australia, but obviously the whole divorce thing ended up happening and the big trip did not. But this moment continues to demonstrate how this show is changing the norm for these kids, and I don't appreciate it.
Can't say where we're going out loud. We go through this a lot, and they're pretty used to it.
I'm glad they take the safety precaution of telling the kids not to tell people where everyone's going. But trusting little kids to not blurt random things is not ideal. It's scary to me that Kate makes this seem so normal. But then Jon, a grown adult, makes the mistake of talking about Korea.
Were you not here when I just announced that we're not saying where we're going?
No, I wasn't here. Sorry.
Was your staring at us?
I hate this. I get that they have a security team, but that's not normal. And I don't know, I just hate it. But then we found out from Kate that they didn't go because Jon didn't want to take the kids to Korea. That seems to be missing some details, but is definitely sad considering the kids and Jon are Korean. But we move on to the next bits of footage. It was Jon and Kate's anniversary, although they had already decided to split. So Kate decided to make the day fun and set up an obstacle course for the kids.
Good job, buddy.
I'm so excited to see moments of Kate playing with the kids and recording their times.
Wow, there was a roll.
And then Kate talks about her book tour, where she states pretty much exactly why she's constantly on other TV shows and chasing that fame.
You kind of get addicted to it because you're like making people's day.
Then we meet a super fan.
I've been watching Kate for a really long time. And I loved her hair. So I just started, growing my hair out like this.
Me personally, you could not pay me to have that hairstyle. Then we move on to the dogs being trained.
Jon was there during the dog training.
Kate also admits that the dogs ran away constantly and their neighbors had brought them back. This led to Jon installing an invisible fence. Then Kate makes a dig at Jon.
Maybe we should have used a collar for other people. Oh, my goodness, did I just say that?
Kate is just so funny. She continues to dig at Jon for failing to stick with the dog training. I find it funny that she wasn't a part of it at all, but at least the dogs aren't in their care anymore. This next critique of Jon is valid.
Please, Daddy. Please. Yes or no?
He is on the phone a lot.
I think this has been true for this generation of parents and on. It was impossible to get either of my parents to respond when they were on their phone. And I'm the same way sometimes too. I hope to not be so chronically online once I'm a parent, but it's a habit nearly every single one of us has now, and it'll be hard to break. It's also hard because parents are allowed to have friends and talk to people too. They're not solely parents, but also people.
I miss the Jon that used to roll around on the floor and wrestle with the kids and giggle and laugh and, entertain them while I was making dinner.
Wait, huh? You were constantly yelling at him when he did that, Kate. I swear you were never happy with him. It's also hard to hear Kate shit-talking Jon about how he's been a more distant father when we, modern day, have learned now how abusive Kate was, and maybe still is. It's scary how much TLC allowed the Jon is a bad dad narrative. Then we move on to Kate making dinner for the family staying at the Ronald McDonald house. If you don't know, or have forgotten, Jon and Kate stayed there when the babies were born as they were in the NICU.
I know the help that this is. I have experienced it firsthand, and I love to cook, and I'm more than happy to do this.
She also took them out for her annual ice cream for dinner and did her classic kids are messy face.
With an ice cream cone. That.
And now we've made it to the series finale, episode 24, and the beginning is incredibly dramatic. Also, this episode is titled, It's a Crazy Life, but It's Our Life. This is how Kate feels about the show being forced to come to an end, as Jon doesn't want to do it anymore.
It's sad. It's needless. It's useless. It was totally avoidable.
She talks about how many opportunities it has brought the family and how fun it's been. Jon has a different perspective.
I think I became more educated in about myself and what I've learned in the past couple months.
He feels like he's now reverted back to being in his young 20s since getting divorced. He was 22 when they got married, had Maddie and Kara a year later, and had 8 kids by the time he was 27.
Didn't really think about my actions, obviously, until I started getting paparazzi and written about. But, that's maturing, that's growing up.
Kate did a great job creating this narrative that Jon has become completely self-serving while she stays back, cleans up the mess, and cares for and about the kids. While Jon may be more distant, he didn't stop being their father or being around. And as we know, Kate did not do everything for the better interest of every child.
When a behavior is, unacceptable, I'll tell them that, but I try not to do it in a disparaging way.
Jon also discusses how moving to New York helped him feel less trapped. With work and home all being the same thing, he never had a place to go, and it made him miss going to work. He also is now dating a woman named Haley. I will say it's definitely odd that she's the daughter of the surgeon who did Kate's tummy tuck, but the kids don't know about this.
They don't know about girlfriends at all.
Kate does end up being right when she says she doesn't see this relationship lasting, so she doesn't think the kids will ever be involved. Kate then goes on to mention how she's learned who her true friends are over these last several months. If you haven't noticed, Aunt Jody has not been in an episode in a while. This is because Kate was upset when she found out TLC was paying her, so Jody stopped filming for the show. I wonder if Kate treated other family members or friends similarly. And then we see this hard moment between Maddie and Jon when they're making signs for a lemonade stand.
I like stuff that we do with Mom.
All right, you're done. Leave the table. You're done. Goodbye. See ya.
That obviously hit a nerve in Jon, and the reaction was not slow to anger or kind. But the lemonade stand was a hit, and all the money they made from it was donated to a local fire station.
Yeah, we sold a lot of lemonade to old people.
Then Kate makes an argument against Jon that I've been making against her this entire time.
Is this a publicity stunt? Is this, what is the bottom line of it?
But while Jon sells lemonade, the kids have a blast playing on a fire truck.
It's fun in there, though. I like it.
Hey, come over and try this!
And the day ends with Jon putting on a fire suit to show the kids that anyone can be a fireman, and you should trust the person in the big suit and not be scared of them.
If Daddy was going into a fire, then he goes like this. Probably not a good suit.
Yeah, he's probably.
There you go.
But this is a look into one of Kate's days. Maddie and Kara are at school, and Kate is taking the sextuplets to an organic farm nearby, and they walk there.
Ow, 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 my foot's hurting.
Yep, this is what I do on the treadmill. Aiden, you're a man. Be a man. Aiden, no crying.
1, he's a 5-year-old boy. But 2, that is such a harmful and stupid thing to say to a kid who is uncomfortable and voicing that. There's nothing weak about shoes hurting your feet. But we all know Kate loves organic food.
Oh, there's just something to be said about organic cows. They were gorgeous.
And then the kids milk them.
These 2 fingers, you pinch it off, and then you squeeze it.
And another quote that aged horribly.
No, Colin, I don't know what you're doing, but I don't like it.
But that just about sums up their trip.
At the time, I had no idea that this trip to the dairy farm would be our very last shoot.
There's so many of these weirdly read voiceovers in these last few episodes, and it feels like Kate had to read some script to a crappy microphone and send the files over because Jon wouldn't allow the crew on the property anymore. That's just a guess, though. Then Kate reflects on the show.
It was really working for us, and I just feel like it ended so suddenly, and, I feel like it's been taken from us, from me and the kids.
I think Jon says it nicely here.
It's unfortunate our marriage failed, but our family shouldn't fail.
The episode ends with a several-minute slideshow of all the great moments shared on this show as Francesca Battistelli's song, It's Your Life plays. Early 2000s Christians, if you know, you know.
It's a crazy life, but it's our life.
And that's Jon and Kate Plus 8. I watched 96 episodes of this insane show. And if you thought that's where it ends, you are wrong. Thankfully, I now have the remaining 19 episodes out of the missing 24 episodes. Look out for the first part of that video on October 15th. And don't worry, we won't be saying bye to the Goslings anytime soon. We've only made it to the sextuplets being 5 so far. Well, I hope you have an amazing week. Bye!